What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I have this 2024 GMC Sierra 2500 AT4X. Currently this truck has 18,286 miles. Out of those miles, I've towed about 4 or 5 trailers, I think. 48 miles with Ben Byerly's trailer. I also have towed with my old Cougar fifth wheel, about 551 miles. Guest trailers says 0. But race trailer, about 1,458 miles. Delta trailer, 5,081 miles. So you kind of get the gist here. So I have towed a good bit with this truck too. Now, with that being said, how has this truck held up? On the front end, there's really no damage. I have not done any protection on the headlights or this parts of the grille. However, I did do a PPF on the lower part of the bumper, and that's simply because whether you buy this truck or a Ram truck, I'm not sure about Ford, you get a lot of rock chips and it just eats away at this paint. So it's just better to protect that part of the bumper. The headlights on this truck are not that great, I'll be honest. I've had better. I think my Ram truck was slightly better. Not a huge improvement, but a little bit better than what you get out of these. And it's really just the side angle of them. If you go and drive a Toyota Tundra, or if you even drive my wife's car, for example, I mean, it's a night and day difference on the headlights. Fog lights, they're adequate. As far as the underbody goes, you guys can see I do a good job of taking care of that. I do actually, clean it, and I respray it every 6 months or so to keep it like this. Now, it's probably been about 4 months since I've touched it, but yeah, it looks pretty dang good. Here's a quick peek at the interior. Seat wear is pretty good. Figure 18,000 miles. This one's gonna be worn the most. All the floor mats always get dirty like that, so I clean them probably once a year. And here's that back. Again, with this truck only having 18,000 miles, the interior is perfect, and I would say that their quality is pretty good. The only negative thing I will point out about the interior is this guy here. I hate this, and that's probably the only negative thing about this new interior is the squeaks you get just right here. I think that's the only spot. And I have a little howl coming out of this guy here where my seatbelt is. I might need to take this in next time and get that looked at. I am hooked up to my race trailer, and this is probably the heaviest trailer I have currently because my Delta is not even 8,500 pounds. But this is 1,400 pounds of hitch weight, although actually I don't know because my wife's car is not in here. I can't wait to show you guys the footage on this. Here's the Corvette. Getting this bad boy in here was a beast, and I can't wait to do a video on this. I don't know how I'm gonna get this car out of here. Like, this was a chore. I probably may never put it back in. This took us a while. I had to get my wife to help me. Normally I can put the car in myself, but this guy is wide. She's wide. Let's go for a quick tow test. I wanted to give you guys some impressions on towing this trailer. It's probably about 10,000 pounds because I'm willing to bet you that car is heavier than my other car. But yeah, you guys can see that helper spring is pretty much in contact. So I would figure this is about 3-inch drop. It's a lot of tongue weight. It's still probably over 1,300 pounds for sure. So if you don't know, GMC trucks only have a single stage exhaust brake. Tow haul mode is on this side here. I already have the tow mirrors extended. Let's go. Now, one thing I want to mention, so you guys who've been following me know I always tow my wife's car, which is her old Lexus in there. That car, I don't know how much it weighs. I got to go home and check it. This Corvette is heavy because I can clearly feel it in that trailer compared to her car. Although that's her car too, but wide open throttle, 30, 40, 50, 60. So this Duramax was updated basically for 2024, but it came out in 2023. You can tell a difference in the acceleration. Now, the Gen 1 L5P had 910 pound-feet of torque compared to the 970 in this truck, and it's night and day different. If you were to drive this truck and then go back and drive a Gen 1, you would instantly notice the grunt is slightly different. It's still good, but this one definitely does put that power down really well. It is a little windy today, and normally when I tow, I always put my chair closer like this. I put my seat up a little bit more so I can see the road a little bit better. You know, seat back a little bit forward. And one thing I love about this GMC is you do have, you'll see it here on the screen, you do have massage function only on the seat back part here. And that's good for those longer trips. I know someone's going to chime in and say, what about your seats? Aren't they really hard? The seats inside a GM, whether it be Chevy, GMC, whether it be a Suburban, Tahoe, Escalade, all the way over to the Sierras again, they're all stiffer. Yes, the seats for GM products are stiffer, for sure. I don't mind it. I think that the stiffer seat gives me better support personally, and I think for longer trips, if it was softer like any other, like I think Ford has probably the softest seats, I think it would hurt my lower back personally. But I find these seats to be comfortable for me. My wife feels the same way. If you are concerned about it, your mattress probably will tell you what type of seat you will like. If you have a firmer mattress, I find that helps to decide whether these seats will be comfortable for you, because I have a firmer mattress. We had a softer pillow top mattress, couldn't stand it. We hated it. And then we switched over to a firmer one, and it fixed the problem. We sleep better every night now. But yeah, this truck handles great. Normally when a truck has independent front suspension, when you're towing conventionally like this, sometimes I notice a little bit of sway with the truck, but I don't know. Every GM is a little different. With those torsion bars, I don't know if that's where it happens at, maybe how they're put on, adjusted. I can't really tell you, but this truck doesn't have that problem. I love the steer feel. One thing I would like to see from GM is maybe a dual stage exhaust brake. You guys see I have my banks over here. That's a game changer for me too. I love seeing all my temperatures. I'll show it to you here in a second. But overall, this truck does handle well. The mirrors, you got to get a little used to them, because you see where that little plastic trim piece is between the glasses? It's a light right there. When I first got my black GMC Sierra, I always thought someone was in my blind spot, so if I was ever getting over, I would get scared and like jerk it, because I would think somebody's there. But yeah, this truck tows really well. So far I've gotten 7.6 mpg. I'm speeding too, by the way. That's another thing too, the stability. Because GM trucks do have a longer bed, they do have a little bit longer wheelbase, and that's a good thing about these trucks. And stability is great. Like, you never notice, like sometimes you forget that you're towing a trailer, and even with my Corvette in there, you can feel the trailer a lot more. Even with my car being a little bit further up, that car being mid-engine, that's why someone asked me, why do you have your car so far up? And I was asking that question in my head, like, why do I have the car so far up? It's because when I had my R8, that car was mid-engine too, and therefore I pulled it up a little bit further so that that engine could be slightly over those axles. That's where most of the weight is anyways, in the back of the car. But yeah, brakes are good. Now we'll talk about my upgrades I've done on this truck. The exhaust brake works a little bit better with my Banks equipment, but it's still lacking. That's why I wish that they did get a little bit more aggressive on the exhaust brake. But really where the exhaust brake works the best is when you have an aggressive transmission. That transmission has to give you the downshifts too, so that's going to give you the braking, and that makes the exhaust brake stronger because the RPMs go up higher, which means you're getting more of that feedback with the turbo. But yeah, overall, if you're planning on towing with this truck, if you plan on driving it normally, it is stiffer with these tires, it is stiffer with the suspension. I think the DSSVs are stiffer. compared to just the regular shocks. So I don't find the truck to drive like a Baja truck at all. It's not bad. It's like an off-road truck, but stiffer. In case you are ever wondering if GM trucks tow in 10th gear, or while you're in tow haul mode, I should say, yes, you do go into 10th gear with this truck. I always wonder that, and I wish that GM would give those things to you, although with my Banks, I don't even care anymore. GM can do whatever the heck they want to do, because that gives me way more information than they could ever offer me. Like, I can see my exhaust gas temps on here. It's just dropped down to 9th gear at 56 miles an hour, by the way. But yeah, it shows me the transmission. The truck does show you the transmission, but you see those exhaust gas temps, and I have the one furthest back too, is at 592. And when you see that exhaust gas temp at like 1,000 degrees, that's how you know the truck's doing a regen. Another way you know if the truck is doing a regen is if you see how it's 99 on the MPG up there. I'm gonna give it acceleration, see how it's dropping. If it doesn't go to 99, that's how you know the truck's doing a regen without having the Banks equipment. So I learned that from Banks, basically, because literally I saw the correlation between the two, and I was like, oh, that's how you know this truck's in the regen, because GM doesn't show you, hey, your truck's in the regen, which they should, because if you keep deactivating that regen process, it has to restart, which means that soot's going to keep building up if you have no clue that it's doing it. So yeah, GM needs to do a better job with that. One thing I've noticed, my truck is getting slightly better fuel economy towing, and obviously the engine has more miles, which means it's starting to break in more. I will say too, the boost tubes and turbo inlet probably are helping, but when I'm unloaded, I don't see a big difference in fuel economy. As far as my performance upgrades go, you can probably see right there, I do have the Banks boost tubes. You have the hot side, and you can really see the cold side right there. Also, you won't really be able to see it, but I do have the turbo inlet installed right there. Those are the only performance upgrades I've done on this truck. You don't need any tuning, and I recommend them highly. If you plan on keeping your truck, if you plan on doing some heavy lifting, that makes a big difference with the boost. The boost comes on so much stronger and consistently. And really, when you go to get those and compare them with the ones that come out of the truck, you'll agree with me that they're terrible. The ones coming out of the truck are just terrible. Now, you guys saw this already. I strongly recommend this. If you want more information, I can't speak any more highly about Banks. This is a game changer. I love to see temperatures, and they don't just give you temperatures, they show you what gear you're in. Now, I know someone's going to chime in and say, well, you can still see what gear you're in too when you go into manual mode, but it doesn't show you exactly what gear you're in. It'll also even show you when the torque converter locks up too. You guys see that lock right there? It will show that. And on this page, I have my fuel rail pressure, 12,000, transmission temp. What is that? Is that the, I think that's the intake air temp, exhaust gas temps, mass air temp. That doesn't work because they haven't set that up yet. On this side, you can see my engine coolant temp, engine oil temp, boost pressures right there. And I have a few more things here. Honestly, I forgot what the AED is. And mass airflow, fuel, tank temperature, DEF temperature, and then it shows horsepower, ECU, and then torque from the ECU too. Pretty cool stuff, right? Let's talk about why my favorite truck sucks so bad. Now, I want to go over the oil changes first, and then we'll answer that question. So, the first thing I want to go over is oil changes. On this truck, I paid $193.05 for 3 oil changes. And that's including tire rotations. Now, that is conventional oil. I wanted to discuss this real quick because someone asked me this in a comment a while ago. The reason why I run conventional 15W40 in this truck is because I get the oil change every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. Most of you guys know fuel dilution is an issue on diesels. So for me personally, I like the idea of just getting the oil change done a little bit sooner, and these prices are really good. So they're using what GM actually recommends, so no, there's no harm, no foul there. Now, obviously, if you want to go 7,500 or 10,000 miles on your oil change, I would 100% run a synthetic oil. And I would also recommend the Banks oil pan because it does increase the volume of oil with that too. So yeah, that way you have more oil. So if you do have a fuel dilution where you're doing a lot of idling or stuff like that, that will help a ton with that. So yes, as far as the warranty stuff, so there's quite a bit of stuff. So let's go through this really quickly. Number one, my driver's side mirror actually would not go into tow mode, and I got that fixed under warranty. I did a video around that. Up next, I had a recall for the trailer brake control module. So they had to replace that under warranty. And at that time, I found that my passenger side mirror, so my driver's side wouldn't go into tow mode, my passenger side mirror had to be replaced because the amber lights, they're like the clearance lights on the mirror, were going in and out. If I were to hit the mirror, they would basically light up like this. So I got that done. The last service I got an oil change, and I had 3 recalls. So 3 issues on my truck at the same time. The first one is actually on the tailgate. I guess they had to replace the switch on there because it would just open randomly. So they replaced it under warranty, which was a recall. The no lock remote start, I guess the truck would not lock when you remote started it, so then they had to do a ECM reprogram with that. Lastly, the serial data gateway module, I can't remember what that was. Brian at the GMC store explained it in another video. It was like the last video I did on my truck. So those 3 things got recalled, and so that's kind of where I'm at right now. The reason why this truck has sucked so bad is because of, yes, the recalls, the warranty stuff, and I might be forgetting another thing. I actually didn't get included with 2 other recalls that this model year truck had too. Remember the roof was separating? I would have had GM buy my truck back if that happened because they weren't going to repaint my truck. So they would have had to buy it back. So thank God I didn't have to deal with that. And there's another one. I can't remember what it was. But yes, my transmission is about to go out. It shudders so bad. I was hoping it would do it when I towed my trailer, but it seems to only do it when I'm unloaded. Now I was thinking maybe, just maybe, it could just be the torque converter, or maybe it's just the HD trucks do have these overbuilt transmissions. Their main purpose is to be under load. So that is sometimes an issue, but literally when I was getting onto the highway and I gave it wide open throttle, the transmission just dropped out. It wouldn't even go. So I kept pushing the gas, wouldn't do anything. So then I like kind of let it idle for a little bit and just coast, and then I hit it, and then it came on, then I gave wide open throttle again, and it did the same thing. So I really do think that my transmission could potentially be going out soon. Hopefully they recall the transmissions, and that way whatever's wrong with it could be fixed. It could be the what do you call it? The valve body. I think that's the issue that they're having with these, and there's something else that happens too. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But overall, I do recommend the GMC Sierra. There's a lot of pros. I know that the oil cooler failures, that's another issue that I've seen. I'm not having that issue. I check my coolant tank almost every day now before I drive it and after I drive it, just to see. And so far, I haven't had that issue. But again, all the manufacturers are going to have issues. That's just a part of owning these types of trucks. They're overbuilt, and they have a lot of things that can go wrong with them. But that's pretty much it. You guys have seen some of my footage on going off-road with this truck. It does not perform well off-road. If you really want a true off-roader going in deep mud, I think you're just going to have to get those knobbier tires. This truck is just too heavy. I think when it comes down to it, the front end is just too heavy. It has an open diff, so that doesn't make it easier. It does have electronic rear locker on it, and it is lifted about 1.5 inches, and then the tires, I think, give you that complete 2-inch lift or so. But yeah, I think that for me personally, taking it off-road, it's just not that kind of truck. It's really an appearance package, in my opinion. If you were to get like a half-ton or a mid-size, yes, those trucks being like 2,000 pounds lighter, 3,000 pounds lighter in some cases, those are better for something like that. But all in all, if you're someone who has an RV and you like to go off the beaten path every once in a while, you live on a farm, you tow heavy equipment, this is the perfect truck. It has a great look, a great stance, and it's really a nice truck. I don't think that the other two really have something that actually competes, you know, alongside of this one. It's just a nice pickup. I love the black bumper design. If you want the AEV package, you have that. Granted, it is a lot of money, but hey, if you want that winch installed on that front bumper, that's the best option compared to Ford, although the Power Wagon and the Rebel do have that option only with the gas engines, however. And yeah, I think that for the look of this truck, the way they geared it, it gets decent fuel economy. This truck I get about combined 16 mpg. Maybe I can get 18 if I went on a long highway trip, but with these more knobbier tires, with the valance being removed and with the lift, you're gonna take a hit on the fuel economy. So just keep that in mind. If you're after better fuel economy on the diesel, you're probably better just sticking with the AT4 truck. And you can get a 3500. You can't get that with the AT4X. But I do recommend the truck. It's a great truck. It has a great look. My family loves it. It's been so far reliable in terms of the powertrain aspect of it. My truck doesn't regen that much either. I don't have issues with going into regens. And I can see it on my Banks readout for the DataMonster. But again, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll hopefully do more videos if I keep this truck in the future, and I'll keep you guys updated.